Welcome back to the shop, my friends. So I'm going to start trying to do something like every Thursday. We're going to call it a tool test Thursday or whatever we can come up with. We're just going to try doing some stuff. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go buy tools. I'm going to need them anyway. Just help fill up my big 44-inch Harbor Freight box. And as I buy them, we're going to put them through their paces. We're going to try to test them a little bit and just see what they're capable of doing. So one thing I did is I stopped at Sears today and I bought something called Extreme Grip. They're supposed to fit, they only come with 8 of the sockets themselves. I'll show you what they look like here. It's kind of neat, but here's what they look like. All right. And they have a little collet on them that they have 3 teeth, and when you push down on the collet, they open up so that you can grab a hold of like stripped off bolts and things like that. So I figure that's what we're gonna try here. So I put some bolts in vinegar, and they're stainless steel bolts. That's all I have around here. So I went and got took these bolts here, and this one I rounded off. As you can see, I try to use a pair of vice grips on it and just tighten the ever-loving crap out of it, and then I cut it off to try to make it a little bit more difficult. So that's what I did to that one. And I've tried to put a 1/2-inch drive socket on it, and all it does is spin around it. It won't stay on it. So a 1/2 inch won't. A 13 won't stay on it. The 13 spins around on it. So that's going to be test number 1. Test number 2 is I took one and tightened the crap out of it and then dented the threads. I don't know if you can see that or not. See if I can get it to focus. I dented the threads. I took a punch and just messed up the threads as best I could all the way down to the nut. And then I got another 5/16, because 5/16 has a 1/2 inch bolt head on it, so that's what you're going to commonly run into. So that's what I figured I'd try, and I put a M18 1.5 on it and screwed it down that far. So I've got a standard 5/16 by 18 with a M8 bolt on top of it to try to make, and I mean that sucker is tight. It was almost getting ready to break the bolt off, so we might break some bolts today. But we're going to give them a shot and just see what we can do with this thing. And I want to know also just how strong these things are. So when we get done to the end of them, and these have lifetime warranty, that's the reason I'm trying this, so that y'all don't have to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a breaker bar on this thing, and I'm going to put one of these bolts back on or get another bolt, and we're going to put some serious torque on these things and just see how much they can take. All right. Without any further ado, let's turn you down and get you started. Okay, so let's start with probably the one that's probably not going to be too bad, which is the 5/16 with an M18 on top of it. We're going to put it in the vise just to make sure that we have a good holding power. And I'm not going to hit this thing with a hammer or anything like that to try to tighten it down. I'm just going to use a good old-fashioned torque and smash it down. All right, well, let's not even play around. Let's just go ahead and get a breaker bar and size that sucker down to a 3/8 and use that on these things. That way we have as much as possible. So looks like I need to turn you up just a smidge so you can see what's going on. So there we go. So what you do is you just stick it on there, you pull up on it, and it locks down. So you put it on there, it won't go. You pick up on it, and it locks down on there. And now it's locked. So let's put this breaker bar on it and just see what happens. Ah, not a problem. All right, well, let's try tightening it instead. Oh yeah, almost like it's made to fit on it. It's making that M18 screw down on there, cutting its own threads into the nut. Okay. Yeah, look at that. We went down that much further. So as you can tell, let me get you focused in on here. It just made its own threads and cut it down on there. And it didn't slip or anything. So that's something for that. Now let's go ahead and do the boogered up threads one. So this one's the boogered up threads. The ones that I took a punch to it, and I went ahead and made sure it wasn't gonna just come off easily. So pick it up, drop it down. No play. That play right there is in the wobble that I've used this so much with cheater pipes that I have bent this breaker bar. All right, so we're caught against it. Let's see what happens. All right. Well, that's coming right off with no problem whatsoever. Yeah, pulled it right off. So basically what it did was it cut its own threads. It just basically acted as a tap and tapped the threads back out. You can see where they're boogered up right there where I hit them with a punch and flattened them out. So let's just go ahead while we're here, all in the name of science, right? Let's lay this up on here. Now let's see if we can't bugger them threads up a little bit more and see if we can put it back on there with it. Okay, let's go ahead and do another side just for good measure. Probably ain't even going to start now. I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and let's crimp it down in the vise. See if we can put some vise jaw marks on it. Oh yeah. Take a look at it now. See if I can get it to focus on there. Look at that. It's even rolled up edges on the daggum thing. So let's see if we can get it to start and screw down on that. So we'll get our nut. Alright, we got her to just barely turn on there one thread. So this may go on there cross threaded, all kinds of stuff. This is going to be the test to see if this thing can take a little bit of torque, I'm sure. I'm telling you, that 2 foot of breaker bar almost makes that effortless. It's just cutting threads on there like nobody's business. Yep, it went right down on there. So what we'll do is we'll take this one after the fact and we'll put some massive torque on it. That's what we'll do with that one. Alright, now this is the rounded off one. So this is the one that I took a pair of vice grips to, then I took a pipe wrench to it, and then I took some channel locks to it. I've done everything I could to try to round this thing off. So it's rounded over, so you might encounter this if you was working on a vehicle from other people trying to take things off. So let's crimp her down and let's just see if this thing will bite. Now beforehand I'm going to show you that a half won't stay on it. See, it just spins around it, no problems. And then let's use a 13. And that just spins around it, no problems. That's a 1/2 inch bolt. We'll drop down to a 12. That won't even go on it. We'll drop down to a 7/16. That'll barely go on it, but I can already tell that's not going to catch. It's just catching on like one corner. And if we went up, then we're definitely not going to have anything. So let's go ahead and try this out. So this is what this thing is supposed to be made for. Is if you have a stripped out bolt, you're supposed to be able to grab this, stick it on there, and it'll grab tight. So let's find out. Yeah, it's tight. All right, let's see if it'll back it off. Like nothing. It's backing it off like nothing. So that almost makes me want to take a small stubby ratchet. So I got a little bitty stubby ratchet. Let's just see how much effort it actually takes. That much. And it hangs on to it all the way out. Pull that rounded off nut right out. So it does work. I'm kind of surprised. They had them on sale, so I figured that them being on sale, they may have had a reason why they were on sale. Like nobody was buying them or they didn't work. But I figured I'd roll the dice on it for you guys. Alright, so let's go ahead and put this one back in here. This is the boogered up thread one. And let's just see how much torque this thing can take. Now that we've already done everything else. So we'll go ahead and get it to bite on there. And she's bit and she is tight. We'll put this bar on here. And yeah, let's just give it an all-out wrap on it. All right, and I believe what it just did, without any effort whatsoever, is round that bolt off. Not round the bolt off, but take the threads clean off the bolt, not the other way around, as far as rounding off the head of the bolt. So let's get this thing off. Well, I chunked it. No problems there. And no problems there. It just, you can tell it basically stripped out the threads on the bolt. So that seems to be a pretty good little tool. Tell you what we're going to try now is we're going to try just putting this in here, being it rounded off that other one. We're just going to put this in here. We're going to tighten the teetotal crap out of it. And this is just the bolt itself. We're going to use the bolt itself as the nut we're going to try to wrench on, so we can put as much torque on this thing as possible. All right, it's about as tight as I can get that vise without hitting on it. So let's grab that 1/2 inch again. I decided to come back and do this so it'll be clipped in the middle. That one almost feels like, yeah. All right, now we're going to go with our pipe again, or our breakover bar again. Got a hold of it. Let's just see how much torque she can take. It's almost like it's effortless. It's not taking any torque whatsoever, and it just broke the head of that bolt off and didn't slip. That's amazing. I mean, it just stripped it right off. I have to take a hammer to get it out, I'm pretty sure, but I ain't doing that with 2 fingers. All right. See if there's any damage to the teeth. Man, well, that thing says it grips. It grips. I couldn't push the collet up. It was on there so tight. But that was like effortless to break that bolt off. So if you're in the market for some of these, they're really lightweight, and I'm really not liking Craftsman here lately, because I believe most of their stuff's made in China. Like this thing here says lifetime warranty, Craftsman. I'm just trying to read the fine print here and see what we're looking at. But see if it has anything to do with, yep, made in China. Craftsman lifetime warranty, but it is made in China. If you can read that right there. So their tools are feeling very lightweight nowadays. They're not really, I mean, this thing almost feels like it's made out of aluminum, so I had my doubts about it, but They had them sitting on the end of the rack, and I believe this set was normally $49.99. And I was in there just looking at some tools, and the guy said, well, hey, we got some super sales going on for Father's Day, and anything that's red tagged is more than half price. And I picked these up. He picked them up for me, and he showed them to me. He said, like, this set right here is 15 bucks. And I was like, beam me up, Scotty, I'll take it. So I bought it for 15 bucks, and thinking that if all else fails, at least maybe I can use them to grab a few stripped off bolts in tight places where I couldn't get it. I also bought some other tools, but we're going to save them for another Thursday. We'll just do these kind of every Thursday. I'll start doing this kind of stuff, or try to at least. So that tool set right there, and that is called, number for it, if y'all want to look them up, is the 47260, and it's the 8-piece extreme grip socket set. And I'll just throw that in the trash because I think I'm going to keep them. They are pretty nice. And here's the back of it if you wanted to know what comes in the 8-piece. It'll fit 3/8 and 10 millimeter, 7/16 and 11, 15/32 and 12, half and 13, 9/16 and 14, 5/8 and 18 or 16, 11/16 and 17, and 3/4 and 19. So that's what you get. Basically, you get an 8-piece that can fit that 16 different things. And we just basically proved that by having a nut on this side that's half, and these other ones were half, and then that was an M8 bolt on the other side. So they're working out pretty good. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and tune in next week, and we'll go over something else. We got some more of these extreme grip that we'll probably go over next week. I'm just gonna leave them out so I don't forget to shoot the video for it. Probably shoot it tomorrow and then just have it for y'all. I'm going out of town, so I need to have one in the burner for you. So we'll do that, and that'll be next week's video, so tune in. Please like and subscribe. Try to get my subscriptions up there. Hit that little bell icon, and if you like seeing this kind of stuff, give me the thumbs up, and we'll just continue doing it. Appreciate everything. Have a great day.